is Brandon Pollard. So I'm a little under the weather, so you guys work with me a little bit. I'm a little congested, but you should, if you guys got any questions or anything, definitely stop me and I can repeat myself. Okay, so our weekly meeting, we go over some of the main topics. During our weekly meeting, we discuss building personal credit, building business credit, quick debt reduction, increasing our monthly cash flow, and creating financial independence. Is there any new people on the call? If so, we definitely want to welcome you. Thank you for joining us this week. You'll definitely probably get a lot of information out of this. Someone definitely probably invited you guys, so definitely thank you for taking a little time out of your Friday evening to join us. Is there anyone that's new on the call that would like to say hello?
Yeah, I'm Taylor Shank. I was invited by Sabor. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, okay, I'm in Charlotte as well. Me and my wife.
Oh, nice, awesome. We should connect.
Awesome. Anyone else new on the call? All right, so we're gonna move forward. So we normally start off our calls with our declaration. If you guys could definitely unmute yourself, we're gonna go ahead and do this declaration together. All right. Can you guys repeat after me? This is my life.
This is my life.
I declare today my mindset has changed.
I declare today my mindset has changed.
I am clear about my path.
I am clear about my path.
I am debt free.
I am debt free.
I walk in the understanding of my finances.
I walk in the understanding of my finances.
I control my spending habits.
I control my spending habits.
I am not a consumer.
I am not a consumer.
I am an investor.
I am an investor.
Money works for me.
My
money works for me.
All things are possible to me because I believe.
All things are possible to me because I believe.
I am financially sexy.
I am financially sexy.
I won't give up.
And I won't give up.
Thank you guys, I do appreciate it. We always want to start off on a positive note, kind of get our mindset prepared for the message that we're using to have for today. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of velocity banking. For some of you guys that are new, and some of the guys, people that has been on the call for a while, I know you definitely heard us talk about velocity banking a lot, and we're going to continue talking about it because this is our foundation of what everything that we do kind of fall back on the velocity banking strategy. So velocity banking is a strategy that uses the line of credit to pay off your debts faster faster than the traditional method. Before in the past, a lot of us was taught, we get paid and we put our money in our checking account and then we pay our bills. But using the velocity banking, we actually add another factor in there. We actually use a line of credit. And so by using that line of credit, we're actually leveraging that line of credit to be able to pay off our debts at an accelerated rate. So velocity banking can help you quickly become debt free, as well as boost your credit score during the process. So it's kind of like a win-win for that. We're not just paying everything out faster, but you're actually utilizing a line of credit, which you're paying back, which actually shows that you're actually responsible, and that actually allows you to have your credit score to be a lot higher. So, which is a great thing. And like I said earlier, it's definitely the core to our program. So definitely, I know you hear it a lot, and we're going to keep pounding it in your head as well, because I totally believe in this strategy. I've been using it for about 2 years now. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I hope some of you guys that haven't jumped on board would definitely jump on board and actually be a part of the wave, just like everyone else. All right, so I will tell you guys a little bit about myself. Some of this stuff may revolve to some of you guys, but definitely for myself, some of the early credit mistakes that I made. My parents never taught me about credit. My parents still to this day doesn't have a credit card. Of course, they bought cars and things of that nature, but They never had a credit card, so they couldn't teach me about credit. I was taught by my parents to work, pay your bills, and whatever's left, just put it in your bank account, just save it. And so I didn't know the importance of maintaining credit. As a young person, you don't think about credit. That's one of the things that this wasn't taught in my household. Um, I didn't know how credit worked. In my eyes, it was free money. I was 18 years old. I'm like, oh, they give me free money, give me a credit card to go spend something. I went crazy. So at 18, I got my first credit account, which was through Best Buy. And me, I'm an IT geek. The first thing I did was bought a desktop computers. And that computer was like maybe, I don't even know how much it was. It was very expensive. And I think I maxed that card out the first time I used it. I bought the computer and I think I bought some CDs or something, like they gave me $1,500. I think it's about 1,500. I spent all of it at one time. I'm like, it's free money. Then they sweeten the deal with 0% APR for a certain amount of months. I'm like, I got a year to pay this off. Oh, of course. I don't know if any of you guys been a victim of that, but I was young and I took advantage of it and wasn't really smart at that time. My second credit card was from Bank of America, and I got a $1,500 limit, which is actually pretty good for me being 18 years old. And with that, I kind of like blew through that as well. Bought shoes and clothes and everything else a young teenage person would do. Um, but I maxed out both of these accounts. I was well over the 30% utilization, and so it got to a point where you had to pay back. So I'm like, okay, so I've been late on several payments. There's been some payments that I missed. I actually got burned really bad on the Best Buy credit card because they had like a 12 months no interest rate, and I didn't pay it completely off within that 12 months. And so after that 13 month, they actually added all of the taxes and fees and all that from that previous 12 months. So my balance actually like double or triple. It was a whole lot more than what I started out with. So that was one of the times I got burnt. And from then on, I just always thought credit was bad. I ripped up those credit cards, throw them away. Like after I pay this thing off, I'm never getting ever getting another credit card. So this was me. So has any of you guys have anything similar to that where you guys got burnt with credit or anything? If you guys want to share maybe like a little 2 or 3 minute scenario, has this ever happened to anyone on this call? I see some hands raised. So that's the thing about, I want to let you guys know that we're all human, and this is what we're really trying to teach you guys is like, it's okay for that to happen. But now we're a little bit older and you have a big team behind you right now. So we can actually prevent this from happening for you as well as your family. So it's time to break that generational curse, right? We're going to teach our families and friends how to become financially independent. So my parents couldn't teach me something that they didn't know, and I can't fault them for that, and I don't. But you guys on this call, meaning that somebody believed in you or somebody believed that this program can definitely help you, and we're here to help. If you guys got any questions or anything, definitely don't reach out. Definitely don't hesitate. Reach out to the coaches, which it's a good way to introduce our coaches. We actually have Rosie. She's on the call. Rosie's on the call today. Did I see Rosie today?
Yes, I am.
So Rosie, do you want to just introduce yourself and say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'm Rosie. It's such an awesome pleasure to be with you tonight and to be one of the coaches for DeMary Funding. What an awesome company. I love you guys, and I'm so glad that you're on this journey with us.
Thank you so much, Rosie. You're awesome, always. And we have the most beautiful Miss Renee on the line as well. I know she's definitely here because I talked to her earlier. Renee, you want to go ahead and say something to the call?
Yes, yeah. Hello and welcome everyone for tonight. Thank you for joining on the call. Rosie said it best. The Mary Funding Company is a great company. The strategies that they teach is wonderful. It's gonna help us. And I just love being on this call because I just really like hearing about people's progress and what this strategy has done for you or for them as an individual. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm just excited about everything that's gonna.
Thank you so much, Renee. We do appreciate that so much. And then you have myself. All right, so now we're gonna get down to the man of the hour, man, the legend. So he's a husband, a father, a brother, and a mentor. He's a real estate investor and has over 29 properties, approximately 1.7 million in assets. He's accredited investor and legally known as legally allowed to trade securities between financial institutions. He's an acquisition manager of $40 million funds in the state of Texas, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. He's known as the mortgage note broker in the world of the mortgage lenders. He and his colleagues broker approximately 2.5 million a month. He has 4 active LLCs and businesses, and he's a consultant of Velocity Banking, credit services, real estate, investing. And I do present to you Sabor Al-Damari. And today's meeting, he'll talk about the blueprint, which is going to be very intriguing, guys. So Al, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, appreciate you. I invited Taylor on the line today. Me and Taylor have been working together for a minute now. Taylor, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. So me and Taylor have been working together for a minute now. She's learning how to broker notes. We met her through a real estate investment group. She's in Charlotte, North Carolina. You want to tell them about how your progress been going as far as your mortgage note and your business and your website and everything like that? Because you know, I always call you my favorite.
Thank you. Yeah, so I kind of started learning about the mortgage note space a little bit late last year, like the fall time. And I got into a group with Sabor. Well, we're in another group where they talk about note investing. And, I kind of always would hear Sabor come on every now and then, and he just seemed super knowledgeable. And someone connected me with him, and they were like, you should connect with him as well. So when I reached out to him, he was super helpful and sent me over a lot of information, just about the brokering side of notes. And it kind of intrigued me because even though I, looked to buy notes and stuff, I also wanted to know how to broker as well, just to be able to do all avenues of the note investing. So, I did get my website and everything set up. I started kind of trying to create a little bit of content, like a couple of videos, just to kind of get people's attention for people that may want to invest as well. And, I was going to start reaching out to my network. And then as far as brokering, I bought my first list. I bought my first list of leads, basically for people who do seller finance on homes and stuff like that. So I'm looking to send out my first mailing campaign, hopefully next week, to those leads that I bought. So I haven't done my first deal yet, but I'm just kind of making progress and taking it step by step.
You do got a potential lead on the table, though. I mean, still on the table.
Yeah.
If we can get the paperwork from him, he just takes forever. I told you he was difficult to work with. I worked with him in the past. I worked with him probably about 7 years ago. He's just difficult. Anybody else have any good news for us this week? Yo, go ahead, Rochelle. I see you. You're muted.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
How you doing?
Hi.
Thank you for inviting me to the meeting, Sabor.
Always.
We took your advice and we went ahead and did what we said we were going to do. We linked up all our credit cards. We paid off all the credit cards with the HELOC, and we linked up all our bills that are coming in to hit the HELOC.
Nice.
So we're ready to do this. And I told my husband, this is going to just change our life. We are on our way and we are so excited. So we're ready to get going with you guys. So send me whatever you learn. I'm ready to go.
All right. So we just make sure we paycheck park. So we're on it. But Brandon got you. I promise you. We will not let you fail. We will not let you fail. Thank you for believing in me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good news. Awesome.
Anybody else got any good news?
Hey, how you doing? It's Jonas.
Hey, Jonas.
Yep, I got my line of credit through my credit card, and I was able to pay down all my outstanding credit cards. I consolidated everything into my Discover card, so everything now is just flowing right through, and I'll be able to be more mindful of what's going on and focused. And I'm really excited about it. Plus, I'm planning to get my company together by next week.
Appreciate you, bro. So proud of you. Anybody else before we move on? I know Michelle and Telly, I had my meeting with you guys. I'm always super proud of you. You're my favorite too. So,
I know I was feeling a little jealous over here.
All right. Anybody else?
I just had my score went up 15 points, and currently working on a business page for our cleaning company, our LLC. Hopefully by next week we'll have the page up and running and get some new customers.
Nice. Don't forget about open up that PayPal business account.
Yep, PayPal business. Yep.
Okay, got you. Anybody else? Asha, I know you're there. You have anything good you want to share? I know you got a list today, or it's coming.
Hi, yes, I have a lot.
Talk about it.
Well, closing some notes that's on the site, but I was able to, we're moving forward in general with Sabor, with investments, right? So Sabor connected me with a few people, and I'm just, since he's busy, I'm just making waves and connecting to a lot of investors, speaking about our criteria, what we are interested in, and getting some good responses. I had to point out that they were not responding. So then I got all of them responding at once and connecting with me.
Gotcha. That's nice. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So it was fun. Thanks.
All
Sabor.
right. No problem. Always, Asha. Always. All right. Anybody else before we get on with this nice topic? So this thing right there, I try to teach here because I have everybody that has different goals and different dreams. So of course, have people that want to create passive income, people that want to create generational wealth. And as Brandon said, our foundation that we try to teach is basically coming from what is called velocity banking. Now, when I first started this didn't have a name. It was just me looking for a way out. I had young kids that I was doing under my private security that had, millions of dollars. And I'm like, how are you doing this type of stuff? And they taught me that I was doing it all wrong. I wasn't leveraging my credit. Like Brandon said, we weren't taught about credit. It was either cash was king. So the money that you had, you leverage, and the money that you didn't have, you just didn't pursue your dreams because you didn't have the money. But we always had the funding, and we always had the money in the form of real estate. In the form of credit in our pocket. And once I learned how to leverage that credit, when I say we, me and my wife, once we learned how to leverage our credit, and it was nothing, I know credit has a bad name, and I'm going to talk about that again tonight, but credit has a bad name and a nasty taste to a lot of us, especially, from my era, because we wasn't taught about credit. Like Brandon said, when we first given our first credit card, any kind of credit, we would blow it up, or we knew credit in the form of a loan where your interest rate was high, either on a car or a mortgage. So it always put a bad taste in your mouth. But, people that over the years that I've listened to, and pretty sure many of y'all have listened to, like Robert Kiyosaki, he talked about the difference between good debt and bad debt, and meaning good credit and bad credit. If you know how to leverage it properly, you can actually build a foundation. You can actually build wealth. You can actually buy mortgage notes. You can actually buy real estate. You can actually buy businesses. You can actually buy cars for a Toro or a rental. You can actually do anything long as you learn how to leverage your credit properly. And all it is knowing the numbers that you have to pay back to the bank versus the money that you're going to bring in. You want to make sure, of course, the money you bring in more than the money that you have to pay back to the bank. I don't care if it's $200. That increases your monthly cash flow. Make sense? So this is basically the overall view of our group, what we teach you. We teach you how to leverage your credit to actually properly buy real estate, or actually properly buy a business, or fund your business, or whatever your goal is. Again, I am an investment real estate, so I'm not going to tell you not to do other business, but we invest in real estate because I find out that real estate has made the most millionaires over the years. And it's easily done. You can generate $1 million worth of portfolio within the next 2 to 3 years by leveraging your credit by using real estate. And again, I'll talk about that at the end of the class. I just wanted to bring up why we teach this, why we teach the foundation of our lessons. It's always about your personal and business credit, and why it's so important for you to transition between the two in order for you to build passive income and leave something for your family. You know, me and Brandon had a meeting with Rochelle this week, her husband. Beautiful people, beautiful people. But they took some of the lessons that we taught them and told, hey, do this. They told it to the kids, hey, do this. And the kids' credit went up and got approved for X amount of credit. And they were like, yay, now we about to do it. So it's definitely work, and it allows you to pass something down so your kids can have it and your kids' kids can have it. And, we send our kids off to college, and we tell them go to school, get good grades, but we leave them when they get out of school a lot of times with that debt from student loans. I'm pretty sure most of us on here have had student loans or have student loans, but if we had learned this method that we're teaching in this program, they wouldn't have walked out of school with student loans. They would have walked out on top of the game and already creating passive income, and you gave them a lesson that they can actually continuously repeat. I always tell you one of my favorite books is The Richest Man in Babylon. He gave one son the lessons of how to fish, and the other son the lessons of fishing. And the son that learned how to fish actually came back with millions when the other son came back with none. So I just want to implore that our foundation here is to basically teach you how to leverage your credit, how to use your credit to build you performing assets of passive income, so you can be hustling for your last name and not your first name. Okay. So with that, I'm going to shut my mouth and go ahead on to the day's lesson. This lesson I name is the blueprint, because I always get the same, we can teach this thing. I've been teaching this thing for a while now. We can teach this thing over and over again, and people still say, "Boy, I just don't understand." And I know a lot of times it comes with a mental block. People feel uncomfortable about making changes in their life, especially when it comes to their finances. They always ask me, "Will this thing work for me?" But I promise you, anybody on this call that's been doing it for you, they're gonna tell you it does nothing but improve your finances, your cash flow, and your credit. So anybody on here can tell you. And plus, it allows you to invest in other opportunities that you see come available. All right, so the blueprint is, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna say in your relationship.
And your relationship. Husband and wife.
A lot of stress. Get rid of a lot of stress.
Yeah, it doesn't really relieve a lot of stress. You don't have no, oh, I have a headache. No, I have a headache now. I'm tired. You don't have that no more, right? You stupid. All right, so the blueprint is basically how to create passive income with no money out of pocket. All right. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to have to put money down or you're going to have to satisfy a down payment, but there's no money out of your pocket, because we want to teach you how to keep your money liquid. Okay. But so before we go on to this nice topic, I got to start out with the questions and answers, see who's been paying attention so far. So y'all ready? All right. We do not use 30% of one's credit card or available credit. Which one? One's credit card or available credit?
One's credit card?
Nope. You're almost good.
Rewind. I'm sorry. Wasn't allowing you. Okay,
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, available credit. Sorry.
Available credit. So you don't want to use. So you can have 20 credit cards, and you can have 10 lines of credit. All that total credit, you do not want to use 30% of that. That will take your credit score down. Now, you can use up to 30% on one credit card or more, but of your overall credit, how much credit that you have available, you don't want to use 30% of that, or your credit score would go down. I like that, Rochelle. Nice try. All right. So what does chunking mean?
What are you, from Alabama?
So what does chunking mean? What do we mean when we say we chunk? I chunk a payment.
Divide.
Almost.
Wild guess. You pay a lot down.
You do pay a lot down. So what chunking means is once I paid all my debts down, all my lines of credit down to zero, I'll take a lump sum of money off of one of my lines of credit and I'll drop it down on the principal only on one of my, say, my car loans. Say I'm my next thing that I want to tack after I pay off my lines of credit on my credit cards. They're going to be my mortgage or my car loan. I would take a lump sum, again, 30% of my line of credit. I would drop it down onto my principal only. That is chunking. Okay. So I just gave you the answer to my third question. What are chunks applied to or paying?
The principal.
The principal payment. Correct. Thank you. All right. What number do we use to calculate how long it would take us to pay off our chunks? We have three important numbers we have to know. We have to know our income, expenses, and
Cash flow.
Cash flow is what we're using to tell us. So once we go in and we learn, once you start the program, we'll go over your income, your expenses, and your cash flow. Cash flow is your leftover money that you have every month. Say it's $500 and you take a chunk of $5,000. We know it's going to take us, we divide the 500 by the 5,000. That tells us how long it takes us to pay back that chunk that we took from our line of credit. Make sense? All right. So now what is paycheck parking? I know
I'm just going to take a guess. I don't know. I think it's when you park it onto your credit card. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. So whatever line of credit that you use, either your HELOC, your credit card, when you get paid, that card becomes your new checking account. So every time you get paid now, that money goes back to that line of credit. All your debt should be in that line of credit. As Rochelle said, they moved all their debt over to their HELOC. So now when they get paid from all their rentals and their income, it goes back to that line of credit. So that's called paycheck parking. All right. Next question. Name some forms of locks. Locks means lines of credit. Name me some forms of locks that we teach.
Would that be HELOC, personal line of credit, and credit card maybe?
Mm-hmm. I hear him over there. I hear your husband. Yeah, he on the sideline. I see him. Get them answers, boy. Get them answers. Yeah, so
all right.
So some forms of lines of credit is going to be your HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, a BLOC, a business line of credit, a PLOC, a personal line of credit, and of course, credit cards. Anything that's revolving. We want something that's revolving. We pay, we use again, pay, use again. Because if we have a loan, it's an open-end transaction. I pay my mortgage, I pay my car note. I cannot go to that company and say, hey, I made a mistake. Can I borrow that money back? They're gonna look at you crazy. But on a line of credit or a HELOC, once I make that payment to them, I actually can go back and take that money back once that payment posts. Make sense? So we want something that's always revolving, a revolving line of credit. But those are some forms of some locks. Thank you. All right. So we recommend an LLC file taxes as what? We just went over this last week, so everybody should be having this.
S corp.
Yes, as an S corp. The LLC should always file taxes as an S corp. So the reason why we say LLC needs to file taxes as an S corp, if you pay yourself a distribution or a salary out of the S corp as an employee, your S corp does not have to file taxes on the money that's kept in the business. So say you make $100,000, you pay yourself $50,000, you only have to pay personal income taxes on the $50,000. The S corp is tax free, the other $50,000. Okay. All right. So next question. You should ask for a line of credit every
3 months.
3 months. So if you have a line of credit, a credit card, a HELOC, a business line of credit, you should be asking for a credit line increase every 3 months. All right. I don't know if I have that on here, but how much do I recommend everybody having available credit? I'm throwing that question out there. This is a random extra quiz question. Go ahead, Rochelle.
120,000.
There you go. 120,000. So 120,000 at 30% of your utilization gives you $36,000 to leverage. So that means you can use $36,000 for a down payment, or $36,000 for a rehab, or whatever, or $36,000 for a mortgage note, whatever you want to use the $36,000 for. Good. All right. So next question. Your line of credit should become your new what? And I already said that earlier. Your line of credit, your HELOC, your line of credit, your BLOC should become your new what?
Oh, your bank account.
There you go.
Right?
He's about to say it. My husband had his hand. He was throwing it. You better answer faster. All right. So last question. I always got to ask this last. Has this program been beneficial to any of you all since you started?
Yeah.
Super.
Yes.
All right. So let's go on with tonight's topic. All right. So again, this topic tonight I call it the blueprint, because I wanted everybody to know. I know that credit has a bad, connotation, notion, or bad. When you say the word credit, a lot of people fringe up or whatever, but credit can actually be good for us. It actually helps us build financial wealth. I mean, anybody that has a home right now or a car right now, they know without that credit, they wouldn't able to get that home or that car. But if you take it on the investment level, that credit can actually help you build wealth, because now you're going to leverage that credit to build something that creates that income. All right. So the blueprint is no more paycheck living, paycheck to paycheck living. Know the difference between credit repair is what we're teaching tonight, and credit building. Also, the power of leverage. Liquidating credit to start as startup capital. Again, a lot of us had dreams or goals or even business ideals that we had in the past, and we said, man, only if I had that money, or only if I can find an angel investor. And that angel investor, as I always said, is sitting in your wallet or your purse all that time. You just didn't know how to leverage it. All right. Also, starting building a portfolio by using credit. And the last topic is, of course, is going to be building relationship with the lenders. I talked to Telly and Michelle this week. They got some goals that they're going to be pursuing that I'm going to actually share with everybody that I want you to start pursuing too. And it's basically how to start building relationship with the lenders. Building relationship with the lenders is not calling them every day, say, hey, my name is Poor and I like your shirt or whatever. Building relationship with your lenders is going to be, of course, on-time payments and actually showing them that you need to establish more credit. So we're going to talk about some of the ways to actually build a relationship with your lenders, okay? I just threw this in here. Leverage credit, know your numbers. Again, we talked about this before, and it's very important for any business owner. If you are going to leverage credit and especially on a HELOC, you only have to pay interest on your draw, say $200 a month, but you have a property that's bringing you in $1,000 a month, or you have a mortgage note that's bringing you $1,000 a month, or you have a business that's bringing you $1,000 a month, minus your $200 that you have to pay back to your lender. That's a good relationship, right? You're making an $800 spread. So that's what I want you to know, basically. And then when you get that cash flow, to make sure you use that cash flow wisely. We spoke about this last week. Don't be mixing business and personal. If you have to, make sure you write yourself a check so that in case you've been audited by the IRS, you always have proof of where that money is going and what that money is being used for, okay? Again, this is my blueprint of how I started my real estate portfolio. Once I got to a 640 credit score, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys are past 640 right now, but you can actually go to your bank or credit union or online. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage. You always want to get pre-approved, even if you do a credit card. And I know a lot of people apply for credit cards. Always look for the pre-approved credit cards. That way you won't waste or spend that inquiry. Because you get a pre-approval, they give you your options that say, hey, yes, you're pre-approved. Go ahead and then apply for that credit card or that mortgage. So once you get pre-approved for a credit card, you can let them know you're going to be FHA, which requires you to put 3.5 down. Now, I'm an investor. I already have a primary mortgage. I don't even play the game. If you don't have a primary mortgage and you're renting, just say, hey, this is going to be my primary mortgage. You have to put less money down on that investment property. If you already have a primary mortgage, just tell them you're buying an investment property. They're going to require you to put 25% down. Okay. What we do is we liquidate our line of credit for the down payment. Okay. Again, no money out of pocket. We're using other people's money. We're using the bank money for our down payment. We're going to liquidate one of our credit cards. And of course, there's different methods that we teach in our course how to liquidate your credit card. You get your property. Again, make sure your numbers make sense. If you owe the bank $200, you want to make sure your tenant's paying you over $200. I don't care if it's $150 over. You just want to make sure your cash flowing, bring in extra income into your household. Okay. Now, what we're doing now, normally what me and my team was doing, we would buy a property, go in, do a full rehab, $30,000-$40,000 into a rehab. That way we can get somebody a new property when they end up buying it from us. Not only that, by putting that $30,000 to $40,000 in, it forces the appreciation and also the equity in that property and the appraised value that we can sell that property higher than we normally would. So our goal is every dollar out, $2 in, sometimes every dollar out, $3 back. So that means if I buy a property for 60, I put 40 in, I'm 100K in. I want to sell or finance that property for 200 plus. Makes sense? Now I'm cash flowing, and that's basically, we want you to make sure you know your numbers, make sure you have money left over, and make sure you're actually bringing in income. We don't want you to lose money on your real estate deals. We want you to bring money into your real estate deals or your mortgage notes or your business, whatever that you have an appetite for, okay? And again, it's all about leveraging other people's money. I didn't use my money. I used my bank's money. I leveraged my credit, okay? And then after you pay back your line of credit, you want to take it back chunks. And basically, again, our program is to teach you how to take chunks to pay off your mortgage, your loans, whatever you take out at accelerated rate. So if I take out $50,000 from my line of credit and I have a cash flow of $5,000, I'm using my line of credit as my new checking account. That means I will pay back off that $50,000 in 10 months. How many people can pay off $50,000 in 10 months? You know, so again, that's what we teach you. That way you can rinse and repeat that whole process over again. Buy another property, do it over again, do it over again, do it over again, until you get to the numbers that you want. My minimum is for everybody is 10. I recommend 30. That way you can leave something for your kids and your children or whatever, okay? Again, I put down here, I hate the word credit because it has a negative meaning to most of us because of the way we grew up and thought about credit. So when I say credit, I want you all to understand I'm talking about a leveraging tool. I'm not talking about credit so that you can go buy something, or credit to go buy a loan or a mortgage, or like a house or something like that, or shoes, like Brandon said. He blew it up on shoes and records and stuff like that. I want you to use that credit to leverage your credit. You're leveraging not only the credit, but you're really basically leveraging your name. Okay. I pay my bills on time, and I use under 30% of my available credit. I'm leveraging my name. I want you to extend me something so that I can actually show you that I can actually build something. Make sense? All right. So I don't have a lot of slides tonight, so I'm going to go through this pretty fast, and that way we can open up to questions and answers for anybody that has anything. Okay. So the difference between credit repair and credit building. If your credit is quite where you want to be, you might be looking for opportunities to raise your credit score. And that's what we start out in this program. We start out with credit repair. There's different things that we, in your credit profile, that we optimize in order for you to look financially sexy. We call it financially sexy. The credit repair may be your goal. Credit repair helps you to achieve your goals financially. And it's important that credit repair and credit building know that there's a difference between credit repair and credit building. I apologize. Credit repair is the process of improving poor credit by getting inaccurate, unfair, or unverifiable information off your credit report. Okay. Credit building is essentially any activity that helps build a good credit. While credit repair does not remove negative items from your credit history, credit building focuses on adding new positive information to your credit report. Now, I know that sounds kind of daunting or whatever. Somebody said that's really stupid support, but a lot of people get the two mixed up. Okay. They'll try to fight the two at the same time. And you always have to start with credit repair, especially in the program that we're teaching. You have to start with the credit repair because, again, you want to look financially sexy to any institution you go to. Credit building becomes next, and also credit acceleration as far as the lines of credit or the types of credit that you're getting. Most of our people, believe it or not, are stuck between anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 in a credit card. You don't want that. We want you to be having anywhere between $25,000 and up on a personal credit card. That way you can leverage that credit and build your credit profile and look financially sexy. Again, if I have $200,000 in available credit on personal side and I go to a bank and I'm only using 30% or less, I look more reliable. I'm not going to default versus somebody that has a credit card for 5,000 and they're using $4,000 of it. You look more risky to a credit bureau or a credit lender. So that's why we recommend that you have high lines of credit and you ask for your credit line increases like you're supposed to. All right, so once you have the information you need and you look for the information on your credit score and you spot out where you can improve or change or anything like that, those are the factors that we want to start attacking. Of course, the credit bureaus use 5 factors to make up our credit score. Our credit score, I like to call it our adult report card. So your adult report card. Now I know a lot of adults on here for years probably didn't even want to look at their report card because they were like, man, that thing is bad. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to look at it. But literally, that is your adult report card. You are back in school, financial school, your economic school. That is your credit report tells a story about you. If just think of it like this: you are a business, right? And you have a family member that comes to you that you haven't seen in a couple of years, and they say, hey, such and such, can I borrow $600 from you? And you pull their credit report and they have a 200 or 300 credit score. Would you lend them money? That shows that they have no respect or no understanding of credit. And not only that, now they have closed accounts on there and they're all charged off. Would you lend them money? That means they don't have respect or they don't pay back their bills. But if you have somebody come to you with an 800 credit score that has no collection, no charge-offs, no negative items, and they have 100% payment history, sure, I will give you money. So that's how we have to start thinking about the businesses that we go to, asking them to extend us credit. Okay, and that's why we teach that you have to look financially sexy in order for you to build your generational wealth. Okay, so note, credit repair and building will only act as a band-aid for some people because it does not address the surface bleeding. It only addresses the surface bleeding. It does not heal the wound. And the reason I say that is because, again, a lot of times when I start teaching these programs and start talking to people and I learn about their finances or I hear about their trauma or their steps or their whatever holds them back from moving forward, it's always something negative about their finances. So even, and again, credit repair companies that teach, and I'm not a credit repair company. I just teach you how to leverage your credit so that you can build passive income. It all starts with your credit. So I'm not a credit repair company, but most credit repair companies would tell you 99% of their customers are repeat customers because they do not change the core problems. They only addressing the surface issues. I want to get my credit right to buy a house. I want to get my credit right to buy a car. I want to get my credit right to go on vacation. I want to get my credit right so I can marry my wife and buy her something, but it doesn't address the core issues. Even when I got started in this probably about 2000, 2001, I was in the same situation. Me and my wife, we filed Chapter 10 bankruptcy. And I'm Chapter 10. We filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and it stays on our credit for 10 years. And you would think that I would have learned because now I'm debt free. They wiped out all my debts. However, it didn't change my mindset. I got more credit cards. I went right back into the same thing until I actually learned this program and I actually learned the steps to actually improve my income and change my situation. So again, we always start out with a declaration, which is my affirmation that I wake up to every morning. And I listen to positive affirmations. I listen to things that actually change my mindset and the way I believe and think about money. And I implore you to do the same thing, because again, if you do not change the root cause, the mindset, then you're not actually going to grow financially. Okay. So anyways, if you have trouble spending, you have debt, credit repair and building will not help with those root issues. You will only get more deeper in debt. The immediate vacations, the immediate spending, the immediate habits, the blah, blah, blah. Renee calls me, I call it the blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that you do to get you more in debt instead of actually take care of the financial things that you need in your household, then, it's going to struggle. It's going to cause a fire in there. I had to do that tonight. I had to do that. So I always say the blah, blah, blah. Is it really some more? So, but the things that cause you issues to get into the problems or the situation that you are now, again, this program is about helping you to learn how to leverage your credit, learn how to change your mindset. Brandon always says velocity banking is just not a tool. Velocity banking becomes a lifestyle. It literally becomes a lifestyle. Same thing I always say. When my wife wants another car, I'm like, okay, fine, you can get another car, but let's buy another property first and let that car pay for your car and a couple more cars and a couple more cars for years to come. So that's the mindset that you want to get into. You want to get into an investor mindset, not a consumer mindset. I don't want you to get money or liquidate your credit cards or liquidate your line of credit to buy a vacation or go somewhere when you still have outstanding debt. It makes no sense. I've talked to guys and they get money and they talk to me and they do things and the first thing they want to do is buy their wife something. I'm like, your wife would be more happy to know that she can sleep peacefully at night and not have to worry about a bill. That vacation can wait to a later date, or it can wait to a later time, or you can plan something. There's no such, I know some people like to be spontaneous, but if you plan it, it'll be better for your wife. Okay. So next one is the power of leverage. So in the power of leverage, and somebody asked me to talk about this, so I wanted to touch on it briefly, just to let you know how I feel about it. And I'm pretty sure most people in the program would say a loan is bad. But leveraging real estate for a mortgage, there are many different type of ways to get financing to buy an investment property. The most common form of financing includes a fixed and adjustable loans. The difference between the fixed and adjustable loans is pretty simple, which I'll try to explain, okay? So a fixed loan, everybody knows, is a fixed interest rate, or a fixed, if you go a car, it's a fixed interest rate. It's the same rate for the term of that loan. If you choose to borrow money from a mortgage company, I always suggest that you do a 30-year at that fixed rate. That way that your monthly payment is low, okay? And that way you make sure that you're cash flowing. I know some people are like, well, the mortgage is only $30,000. I can pay that off in 5 years if I take the if I take a 5-year term. Again, I'm going to tell you always take the 30. That way you make sure you're bringing in cash flow off the investment property. I don't care if it's 20 years they offer you, take the 30. That means if you have a $30,000 mortgage, you take $30,000 from a mortgage and you only have to pay back $95 a month. That is perfectly fine for 30 years because you're going to end up paying it off faster the way that we teach you anyway. You'll have that little $30,000 paid off in 6-7 months, okay? But you're going to take a 30-year mortgage to make sure you always cash flowing income. All right, so an adjustable rate mortgage. Oh, sorry, I just put down here. So if your company, if you own a loan payment is $500 a month, and today, it stays $500 for the next 10 years. That's just basically a fixed mortgage. Your mortgage payment never changed. Your payment never changed. That's on a fixed mortgage, okay? Now, on an adjustable rate mortgage, and this in 2008, I don't know if anybody's any past my age limit, but in 2008, this loan right here caused a lot of people to lose their home. It caused a lot of minorities that actually have homes to this day still struggle to buy new homes. They're stuck in 85% rental area because of ARMs. ARMs is adjustable rate mortgage. It's all based off market index. Normally, the market index is known as the mortgage index. So if the mortgage market goes up, your interest rate goes up. If the mortgage market goes down, your interest rates goes down. So the current times that we live in, where mortgage rates are jumping up, mortgage sales are jumping up 95% and plus of its value. That means your ARM, if you currently have an ARM, you're going to see your ARM is going to shoot up too. Now, if the mortgage rates or the market value went down, your ARM will shoot down. But it's very rare that your ARM is going to go down under where you started at. Okay. So either way, if you cannot get an adjustable rate mortgage, a lot of times, believe it or not, some people can't get a fixed rate. If you cannot get a fixed rate, I'm not going to tell you not to get a mortgage. Sometimes it's good to go ahead and get that adjustable rate mortgage because they'll be lower than the fixed rate anyways. However, you always want to make sure you aim to refinancing yourself out before that mortgage rate changes. Again, the only way you're going to refinance it is to make sure you have good credit, because even if you want to refinance, they're still going to check your credit score. So you still have to look financially sexy in order for you to get a low fixed rate. Again, if you take an ARM, make sure your credit is good, or make sure you're building your credit in order for you to refinance out of that before that interest rate change, because that interest rate literally can go from 3% to 20%, literally on an ARM. And that's what happened to a lot of people in 2008 when the market mortgage crashed. They were in ARMs and they thought they were good and secure. The ARM went from 5% all the way up to 25%, and they couldn't make those payments. And then another thing is, on top of that, I want to say, I hear a lot of people now talking about refinancing their home, refinancing to take cash out, refinancing to do upgrades, refinancing to do repairs, refinance. I'm going to tell you, never ever refinance. I don't care if it's a car note or a mortgage note. If you take a note and it's a fixed rate, I don't care if it's 7% or 10%, never ever ever refinance. What you end up doing is owning nothing but the doorknob. Every time you refinance, you restart your amortization calendar. You restart your amortization clock. Okay. So what that means is, if you've been in that house 5 years and you paid down all that equity and you went to that bank and went back to refinance that property, you just started your amortization calculator. So we talked about this before. Amortization calculator or amortization schedule, it basically means at the top of your mortgage or the top of your loan, you pay all interest, right? In a mortgage, if you have a 30-year, at 18 years, that's when you start paying more principal than interest, okay? So when you refinance and you have 5 years in, 10 years in, what you do is reset that clock and you start paying all interest. That's why banks and other financial institutions push refinancing down your throat, because they want you to pay all that interest back on the loan. Now, as an investor, and especially me as a mortgage note buyer, and buy my properties and I sell or finance them, I want interest. Of course, go ahead and refinance. You're helping me out. But as an investor, I'm telling you, do not refinance. You have a better option or a better way of just selling that property out, taking that cash flow, because after 24 months, you do not have to pay capital gains on that property. If that's something you want to do, if you don't have an emotional tie. I am the type of person, I don't get tied to anything but my wife. So I don't get tied to my property, I don't get tied to my business, whatever. But if you want to find a better way, she's outside. I had to say that, y'all. It's not for serious. But if you want to never get tied to your property, you always want to make sure that you actually, either sell that property, whatever, take that cash flow. If you live in your property for 24 months or plus, you don't have to pay capital gains on that property. All that income is yours. If you make over $250,000, you have to make capital gains as an individual. If you're a couple, you make over $500,000, then you have to pay capital gains on that money that you get out the sale of that property. So just always think about that. Again, do not refinance. That's the board words coming from you, okay? All right, so the next step that I want to talk about next is liquidating credit to startup capital. So again, I always tell everybody this: you always had the money that you needed to start your business. You always had the money in your pocket to fund your business. And the whole thing is that we didn't know anything about credit. Again, credit has a bad name to most of us that's been on this call. Especially if you're my age group, and Brandon talked about it. You burned your credit, and you got scared of credit. You cut your credit cards up, or you put them in a drawer and vowed to never use them again. Okay, that was the wrong thought. Again, our goal is to teach you. You get paid, your money goes in your checking account, that money goes to your line of credit, and then you pay your bills. We no longer do the checking account bills and then live off the rest of it. No, we use our line of credit to live. We use our line of credit to pay our bills. We use our line of credit to fund our businesses. We use our line of credit for everything. Your line of credit becomes your everything, 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 everything. Okay? You get your money, it goes to your line of credit. Okay. So anyways, I'm ranting, but anyways, when you start, when you want to launch a business, or you have a business idea, or you actually have a business and you want to take your business to a new level, say marketing, whatever, and you need to find capital. Most people are looking for outside investors. Most people are looking for, even for rehabs, people are going to hard money lenders. And believe it or not, these hard money lenders are doing the same thing that I'm teaching you now. They are taking the money from their credit card and they're giving it to you to do your rehab. Their cost on their credit card is going to be X amount of dollars, and they're charging you astronomical amounts of dollars for it as a private money lender. You know, all they doing, they're not using their cash flow. They're actually just leveraging their credit cards, or they're leveraging their line of credit. They take their money off, give it to you in a promissory note, and you have to pay them their fees. Anybody who's on here that's been went to rehabs and went to a private money lender, you know those costs, the fees are costly. And they only paying $200 to $300 back to their credit card every month, and they're charging you $1,500. Same thing. You can make a business out of this. I'm not telling you how to do it, but you can make a business out of it. Just say support told you that. All you're doing is, again, leveraging your credit, you know. So same thing with business and personal credit. There are business and personal credit card options, and they all give you ways to liquidate your credit cards. My favorite card is Discover. We've talked about my Discover account before, how I just do a balance transfer. I find a property. If I get a back-end loan, you know, I go to a mortgage company, I get pre-approved for a mortgage. They'll tell me I have to put X amount of down, which is normally 25% on investment property. I would use my credit card. I like Discover because I can do a balance transfer directly to my checking account. Now I have a down payment for my mortgage or mortgage note or whatever I want to do. The thing with business credit is nothing but personal credit on steroids. Okay, so if I have a $25,000 personal line of credit, most times when I go to the business side, it's going to give me a $50,000 line of credit on the business side. So business credit is nothing but personal credit on steroids, and you can still leverage that business credit as the same way. I don't know if he's on here or not. I don't think he made it tonight. Mark, are you there? No. Well, I'll tell you about Mark. He called me early this week, and I'm very proud of him. But I'll tell you about the end of that at the end of this call. But anyways, some ways that we use to turn credit into cash, again, is the balance transfer, like I talked about, a convenience check. If you have credit cards, most of your credit cards will come with a convenience check. Sometimes you actually have to call them and ask for a convenience check. I think, Jonas, you did a convenience check recently, right? Because you can do a balance transfer.
That's correct, with Discover.
Okay. How long did it take them to give you the convenience check?
It took them 5 business days.
Okay. So you can do a convenience check to do it. If you have merchant accounts are basically going to be like PayPal, Plastique, Cash Apps, those type of online platforms where you can actually go and create invoices or transfer money to you or your personal, or your business, or your family member. And that way you can liquidate that credit card to use that to chunk to pay down your bills. I mentioned Cash App again at the bottom. All right. So everybody cool with that before we move on? Because I only have like one more slide. All right. So before I go into the slide, I want to talk about Mark. Mark was a young friend of my daughter's, my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter's 28, Brandon? 29? 28. Anyways, years ago, he was in and out of juvenile hall, getting in a lot of trouble. He had came home when he was 20 years old. You know, of course, I know these kids since they were little. So I was talking to him about, getting his life right and stuff like that. And he actually made me cry the other day. But anyways, I was talking to him about getting his life right. And he couldn't get a job. We lived in Virginia Beach at the time. I don't know if you know or not, in Virginia Beach, you're either a beach person or you're a visitor. So there's not a lot of jobs down there. But anyways, Mark, when he was 20 years old, and went out with some of his friends when he got out of prison, he ended up sleeping with a young girl who was 15. And I know it's put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. He didn't know, honestly, but they ended up putting him on a life sex offender list. So now he's a young Black male with a criminal record and a lifetime sex offender registry. So he's locked out of the game. Not a bad kid, he just made a mistake. So what I ended up having Mark do was he had ended up creating an LLC. He created a business. He created an extension of himself. He opened up a record studio. That was his passion at the time. He opened a record studio. He had people like Virginia Beach locals, which is, Pharrell, Teddy Riley, and some other people go through his studio and make records for him. Make records in his studio. He started a studio, and he also started doing real estate investing. And he called me the other day. He made me feel proud. He's like, you changed my life, man. And I'm so proud. Now every year in Virginia Beach, they host what is called Beach Fest. He's actually the coordinator for that beach fest on Virginia Beach Oceanfront. He still has record studio. He also has 6 properties that he has investment properties on. So I'm really, really proud of him. And I wanted him to share his story with you guys. And I don't know, I don't think he's on here, but I really want him to share his story because it just tells you that even though somebody try to lock you out, and again, all it did, I taught him how to leverage his credit. But when somebody try to lock you out, you still have an opportunity to make a way for yourself, you know. And a lot of us are not as in a bad situation as he is. But if he can change his life and make something of his life, I'm telling you, everybody on this call can, you know. So I just wanted to put that out there. Anyways, all right, let me get myself together real fast. I wanted everybody to start building relationship with your lenders. So like Rochelle and her husband, Jonas, Telly, you know, some other people on the calls, Brian, I know that we've taught them basically how to pay off their lines of credit and their debt down to 0, right? So now that you have your line of credit, now we need for you to start building your line of credit. Again, we want you to have at least 120,000 available credit. Now, this is going to be counterintuitive to everything that I've taught you guys up to now, okay? So what I'm going to tell you is, now that you have your credit cards down to 0, right? You need to be taking your credit cards and liquidating 80% of your credit cards to one of the methods that I told you. The reason why, when you use 80%, you're not going to use that money. You're not going to spend it on anything. You're just going to take that money off your credit card, put it in your checking account. Every 2 weeks or before your statement date, you need to be paying that money back. Because what you're trying to do is build a relationship with your lender. You're telling your lender, okay, he's using up to 80%. He needs more available credit, or she needs more available credit. So that way, you do that for 2 months. On your 3rd month, as we always tell you, ask for a credit line increase. That way they'll see your history. You're paying the money on time, but you're using too much of your credit. So that way they'll give you more credit. I know people are getting stuck and they're saying, well, I go ask for a credit line increase and so boy, they're not giving me anything. So this is my tip and tool for you tonight. I need for you to start building relationships with your lenders. Again, this money is not for you to liquidate and spend. It's only to play the game so that you can get more lines of credit. Make sense? And that's either business side and the personal side. I don't care how you liquidate it. You can talk to one of the coaches. The coaches will put together a plan for you to show you how to liquidate your credit card if you don't know the methods. And then you want to make sure every 2 weeks or before the billing statement ends, not your payment date, your statement date. Before your statement date ends, you want to make sure you have that money back in there. That way you can start building your business credit and asking for credit line increases or your personal credit to make sure you ask for credit line increases, okay? Go ahead, bro. I hear you. You have a question for me? Anybody have a question before I move on to my next thing?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm listening to you.
So, clarify something, we're confused. Okay, so when you're saying that we need to see about liquidating 80% of the limit, credit card limit on our credit cards right now, we just take it out and we put it somewhere, but we don't spend it just to show them we're using it, so they'll give me more credit?
Yes. So what happens is, what happens is, say like Sam's card or whatever, I have $10,000 and I go to them and say, hey, can I get a credit line increase? But I'm not even using $10 of that. They're like, you're not using the available credit that you have now, right? But if I take my credit card right now that currently has the highest limit, of course, I know that you already paid all your credit cards off. So you take the credit card that you have the highest limit on, you take 80% of that off, right? And every 2 weeks, and again, before the billing statement, you pay that credit card back off. When you go to ask for your credit line increases, especially on the business side, they're going to be like, oh, he needs more credit. That way you get higher lines of credit. You're just playing the game to show them that you need more credit.
Oh, that's
So really what you're basically doing is that you're really just moving money from one spot to the other spot, is what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes, because what happens is you don't use them as a credit, they're not going to give you more credit.
okay.
So you're the card, you're not going to spend that money. You're just going to put it in a place where you can hold it, and then every 2 weeks you're going to take that money and pay it back to the card. So it's not like you're actually using it, it's just making it look like you're using it.
You're right, correct. Correct. All right, we're good there before I move on to that next one? So everybody got
the
go ahead.
bull.
Yes, sir.
So would you say it'd be best to do that as a balance transfer or just regular expenses?
So on that one, I would probably tell you do it if you have a business account. If you're doing it on the personal level, balance transfer is good. If you have a business account, such as PayPal or whatever, I would definitely tell you write an invoice to yourself, log out, pay with credit card. That way you don't have to pay that balance transfer fee.
Okay, so like a regular liquidation on the business side then.
Yes. And not only that though, and again, my team can teach you on the Cash App, you can actually pay yourself or send money to your husband, wife, spouse, or whoever, friend, family, whatever, and they don't have to pay a fee for doing that transfer. You can actually pay somebody to a credit card.
Right.
Sabur, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that going to affect your credit score at all, personal or business? Because it's overutilization of not 30%, but 80, right?
You're not over your utilization until they actually report to the credit bureau. That's why you pay it back before the statement date. You're just building that You're just building that relationship. That's why I wanted to make sure to explain. You're building that relationship with that current lender. You're building that relationship with that credit card or line of credit. You're just building that relationship with them. So
got it. So they don't have time to report that, right?
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
And do you advise to do it one time or multiple times to show them that you have utilization 80%?
You need to be doing every once a month. So once a month. So the first month after that statement date hits and you show that your utilization is 0 again, or when your next billing come out, you need to do it again. That way, on the third month, when you go to ask for your credit line increase, again, you ask for your credit line increases every 3 months. That third month, you ask for your credit line increase. That way, to make sure you get awarded higher limits of credit.
Got it. Awesome.
So Sabur, I just want to just make you aware of the time. It is like after 9, so just want to try to keep.
Okay. I'll keep it brief. I'm sorry. So anyways, some people that have business credit cards, they have like a chase. You get emails from them to actually send you referrals. Like if you take your link, I posted it in our private Facebook groups. Like when I get referral requests, you can actually build business relationships like that too with your banks by having people sign up by using your referral code or whatever. You can actually start building a relationship with that. The number of referrals that you come in is actually a good way to help build business relationship and get higher limits of credit too. Okay. Next one is this is very important for people that ask me about what I do with my cash rewards. You can use your cash rewards to pay down your bill, or you can use your cash rewards, because you can transfer cash rewards for those that are using the credit card method. I know some people using the HELOC method, but those that have cash rewards cards and they're using the cash rewards to pay down their credit card. You don't not always have to use that cash reward. You can actually use that cash rewards to invest. Some banks that you have, you can actually take that cash rewards and put it in savings with them, even though you're not really gaining a lot of money off of interest, or you can open up different savings account, money markets with that bank, and they build a relationship with them that way too. Just using your cash rewards, not using none of your personal income. Again, if you're paying all your bills out of your checking account monthly, that checking account gave you nothing. But when you set all your bills up onto that credit card now gives you cash rewards. You're still satisfying those bills, and now you're getting free money from the bank. You take that free money from the bank and give it back to the bank in a money market so you can invest it. So that's another method that you can use to build a relationship with the bank. So I get a lot of people asking me, what do I do with my cash rewards, money markets, peer-to-peer lending, those type of things. I use my cash rewards for my grandchildren. You can do the same thing with your children, whatever, okay? Again, you just want to build stronger relationships. Another thing is, and Renee, give me about 5 more minutes and I'll be off the call, okay? The last thing is going to be fintech companies. So I know a lot of people do not want to apply for new credit cards. If you have a business or a personal account, there are new companies out here called fintech companies. The fintech companies will basically link to your personal or business checking accounts. These companies will look at your income, revenue, ins and outs, and they award you certain limits of credit, okay? Those fintech companies will actually help you build credit, especially on the business side. For the Capital on Tap, Rodney not here tonight. Rodney will tell you, me and him did it together on the line on the Capital on Tap. They gave me $50,000 for business credit range on the business side. So all it is basically, you know, they log into my business checking account. You just basically log in. They give you, once you fill out the application, they give you a link to it. You log in, they'll do a little system, and they'll come back and tell you if you're awarded credit. FinTech company has been very good for helping people build both business and personal credit. One of the good, I know many of y'all probably seen it now, is the Chime card. Chime card for people that's on a card that do not have credit. The Chime card is nothing but a debit card. You transfer a certain amount of money, or you direct deposit a certain amount of money into that Chime card. When you do your everyday purchases like gas, food, especially you, Telly, you like to eat out a lot, gas, food, that Chime card, that those purchases will actually build your personal credit up. I had a young lady, my wife will tell you, she don't get on the calls. She's a personal friend of ours, but I had her start doing this. After 3 months, she had a 740 credit score with a Chimes card just by making those payments. Okay, so she was transferred. She's a bartender, so she would actually transfer her money over to the Chime card, and she would use her monthly spending, and that Chime card helped build her. So these are some examples of personal business fintech companies. All right. And as always, I always end what I always say: a movement is a movement. You have to be ready to move in your life. We cannot help you. We cannot guide you unless you're ready to move. It's all about mindset, mindset, and wanting to change and willing to change financially, and again, to look financially sexy. If you have any questions, I'm open to questions. I only got 5 minutes, so let's make them fast. Please, 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 let's make them fast. Anybody got questions about anything I said tonight, please, or any kind of questions? All right, so if you want to reach out to our coaches, those that we had our meeting with this week, I'm so grateful for you guys, and those that we'll have meeting with next week, I look forward to it. And I am done for the night. So anybody else have anything to say before we close out?
Well, you know what, Sabor, I wanted to mention that one of my clients, we've actually met only twice, and she has been doing what we've been instructing her to do, and she checked her credit score, and it actually went up about 42 points. So 2 visits, so to speak.
Well, congratulations on that.
Also, I want to also talk about the children's meeting too. They do have it for our youth. I think it's Rose, it's $20, right, for on Tuesday if we want to for our youth. Is that correct?
Yes, $20 for the youth. Anybody under 25, they can join, and we teach them velocity banking and how to get their finances in order before they know.
Absolutely. So if you guys have anybody that's under 25 that you think this information will be definitely beneficial for, definitely let us know. Reach out to Rosie. I do have our information in the chat window as well. Like I said earlier, we definitely want to break this generational curse. So we do have some young people that you guys can bring to us. We would love to help them out as well too. So we're not just helping the adults, we're looking out for everyone. So we, like you said, this is a movement, definitely a movement. Before closing out, I definitely want to thank Sabor for the powerful message every week, man. I'm taking notes myself. I've been doing this for a while, but the guy's a wealth of knowledge, man, and we do appreciate you. I want to let you know that personally, myself, as well as the coaches and everyone else on this call. We appreciate everything that you do for us. You're definitely valuable, and we appreciate you. So continue to keep blessing us, continue to motivate us, and definitely want to give you your flowers now too. Before closing it out, is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about, or any other questions? Well, it's been a blessing. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
That was Sandy. Hey, Sandy.
Sorry, guys. I've just been quiet.
Oh, no, I see you.
Grocery shopping, so I just wanted to let you know, I'm on the calls, I'm listening. I'll be talking to you soon, Sabor.
All right.
And I just want to say you really definitely are a blessing. And I'm really so grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the rest of the team and for everyone that's on this call. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Taylor, so what do you think, Taylor? What do you think about the information that we give here?
It was great. I took a whole lot of notes. You really dropped a lot of great information, and I'm definitely ready to be a part of the group. So I thank you for inviting me on, and I'm ready to, do my journey as well.
It's a different world from that you normally see me in the banking mode, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody. And again, everybody that I have meetings with next week, I look forward to talking to you.